dun, dun, dun. There's no way. Yeah, I'm in a, I'm in a Jennifer Hudson Dream Girl movie. Ah, welcome, welcome. It's T Nathan time. Ah, that's the name of the show. I might have to steal that one. What time is it? It's T Nathan time. Greetings and salutations. I don't know what time it is. I don't know what time. Y'all come on in before we get to the promo. Give people time. I think I'm gonna try to start going live at like 9:55, leading into the 10 o'clock hour, and that way I give people time to file in, and then I'll just go hot at 10 o'clock on the GCPR network and like just get into it. But yeah, yeah, that's not gonna happen. What's up? What's up, in Miss Banana? Greetings, salutations. I see you. How's the lighting? How's the lighting, Gracie? How's the lighting? Lighting good? Lighting and sound check. Lighting and sound check. Uh, I don't know what that is. Just came on the screen. Excuse me. Excuse me. Get out the way. All right. Good. 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 Yeah. Hmm. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing well. Y'all take the time. Come on in. Come on in. Um, where you at, Jay? What's up, Shay? Yeah, Shay. I read your article on your friend. Yeah, the article you sent me. Hard to see the chat screen. It'll be all right. Give me a minute, Rob. Give me a minute, Amy. It'll be out the way in just a minute. Let's get this intro going.
Conversations with TNathan delves into the stories of activists, scholars, and everyday heroes who have fought to continue the fight for justice, equality, and liberation. Not only will he educate and inform, but also empowers listeners to become active participants in the ongoing fight for justice.
There you go. Is that still too? What about that, Amy? Is that better or is it still in the way? Just left the job. Hold on. What Jay say? Now headed to. All right. Let us know when you get there. All right. How many jobs you got, Jay? Oh, oh, oh. Now I want to see your message. I'm live now. It's in the way. All right. If it could be a tad darker, all right, we'll make it real dark. Hold on. We'll make it real dark. Ah, how's that? Ah, dark enough. Greetings, salutations. Welcome, 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 welcome. Ah, good, good, good. Welcome to Conversations with T. Nathan. I am your host, T. Nathan. I guess this makes this the conversation. And yeah, we're doing the damn thing. We're doing the damn thing. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are y'all doing today? How was your weekend? How was the weekend? Same old eyes. How was y'all's weekend? I hope you all took my advice this weekend. Random act of kindness. Random act of kindness, along with telling somebody you love them and showing them you love them. Yeah. There's nothing better than love. Yeah, let yourself reach for that star. I'll talk our way through. I'll talk our way through. Good, good. A goat died on my watch. A goat died on your watch? A goat? You on watch at the farm? Was it the goat old? I mean, that needs context. Needs context. Like, is it kill a goat? Oh, the goat was old. Okay, okay. Context, context. It was like thinking, you thinking, yeah, we need some context with that. Uh, Goat died on my watch. Is that like a racist dying on my watch? I mean, it needs context. Needs context. How y'all doing today? Um, y'all know what time it is. Our our mediation time of horror stories that have come out today. Briefly we touch over. There was a case I was following from 2022, and in this case, this young woman, and I didn't put it up here. I should have put it up here. Let's see if I can send it over right quick. But it's a horror story because of the fact of we started following in 2022, and young the couple involved, the mother of a child and the boyfriend of the child, they were convicted. They were arrested for hmm, how should I say this? In Oklahoma, they were in Oklahoma, and they were this is two. The child was 2 at the time, and the mother and the boyfriend were arrested after the mother said that she sold her child to the local meth dealer, and of course his name was Carlos. I always thought that was funny because interesting is like the insinuation. This reminds me of Susan Smith when she said, a black man hijacked her car with 2 white kids in the back of it. Story of no black man ever. And people ran with that. Like black man in this rural town carjacks the car and has 2 children in the back of it. Like, yeah, no black man ever. But people ran with that. But that's what they thought of when I thought of this saying that they had sold their child to their dealer. So this was in 2022. This is 3 years ago. The child would be 6 years old now. The child will be 6 years old now, and the child hasn't been found. Body been found to anything. They said the child was in Mexico with the meth dealer that somehow wasn't selling anything, but this whole story has to do with my lifestyle. I just found it hard to believe, but of course they ran with that. Well, they were found guilty. The teenage children that are now teenagers testified against them, and they described the horrors that a 2-year-old was put through by these 2 parents. Right? Um, let's see. Hold tight. See if I can get it up here. Bum, 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 bum. Uh, there we go. Yeah, so I warn you, the details of this are going to be hard to take. I'll just warn you in advance. The details of this case are going to be tough to swallow. No, I don't want to log into my account. I just want to share the story. Uh, there we go. Let's get to it.
Doomed to fail is sadly common in many Kansas schools today. Our poor
Oklahoma City police have taken over the case involving a little girl who's been missing for 3 years.
Let me show you London Kerr, who would currently be about 5 years old. This is a picture from 2022. 2 people have been arrested in her disappearance, and investigators believe, horribly, she suffered extreme abuse. News 4's Sydney Batzloff joins us from the Oklahoma City Police Department with the latest on the investigation. Sydney.
Kevin, Jolene, this case may sound familiar. That's because we've reported on it before. More police were the ones originally taking over the case. They even made an arrest to the mother of the little girl back in the end of October. And now they turned that to the OSBI. But now the Oklahoma City Police Department has gotten involved assisting OSBI. Now, London Kerr hasn't been seen since 2022. She's now roughly about 5 years old. And what we've learned from Oklahoma City Police is that there's been 2 new arrests with this case. They've arrested London Kerr's primary caregivers, 39-year-old Ashley Rowland. Now, this is the same person that was arrested back in October. She actually bonded out and was released in November. This is London's mother. Again, her name is Ashley Rowland. And we've also learned that 40-year-old Joshua Denton has been arrested on multiple complaints of physical and sexual abuse. Now, following these arrests, investigators say they were given a lack of credible information related to the little girl's whereabouts.
There's a lack of merit. There's some of the stories that haven't panned out by those who we believe may have some more information than what they're coming forward with. So all of that makes it quite a complex case.
The mother, Ashley Rowland, originally told officers that London was with her father in Georgia. That ended up not to be true. She then told investigators she gave her to a man named Carlos from Mexico who was selling drugs. And new court documents are also revealing the man arrested, Joshua Denton, has been accused of abusing London in the past. Those allegations include pouring hot sauce into her eyes and shooting her with a BB gun. Again, police say stories here are not adding up, and they're hoping that anyone with information will come forward on the whereabouts of 5-year-old London Kerr. For now, reporting live in downtown Sydney Batsloff, Oklahoma's News 4.
Oklahoma City Police Department with the latest on the investigation. Sydney. News 4 Sydney.
Yeah, yeah. That's the. Let me say. And this is what makes me so infuriated. This young girl disappeared from her home, and her mother said she sold her to Carlos in 2022. The mother was first arrested 2 years later in October of 24, and then she bonded out, and then she's been arrested again. Listen, the the teenage children testified, left statements that they had witnessed the abuse of this child that took place with a parent shooting a child with a BB gun, child with a BB gun. While also, can you imagine? Have you ever put your hands in your eyes after you touch something like a hot pepper or something, that burning sensation? Can you imagine a 2-year-old having hot sauce poured in their eyes? Can you imagine that? And they're just being arrested. They're just being arrested. You told the police in 2023, as a matter of fact, that your child, listen, let's just forget, fuck what you told me. When you told me the child was with the father, I checked with the father, the child not with the father, the father hadn't seen her, and I don't know where he at, why he not there raising hell. I'm raising hell on his behalf. I'm raising hell on, no, I'm raising hell on the little child's behalf. But we have gone almost 3 years until we finally arrested you in connection with this. And sometime along the line, you told her that you had given your child to Carlos and he was gone to Mexico. See, that's the thing, Amy. See, you're looking at it from that point about why I have kids. They don't look at it from the points of why not have kids. See, you're trying to think rationally, like you think, they don't like kids, and so why did they have any? That's a rational thought. I commend the rationality of that thought, but that's not their thought process. We have to just start acknowledging these weak ass bitches need to be put where weak ass bitches need to go. At the end of the day, this child was 2 years old. 2 years old, and this is what happened to them. You 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 human trafficked your child, and you didn't go to jail immediately. Yeah. So I'm still following that case. I'm waiting for it, but I was reading it. It is tragic. Yes, because my brain can't comprehend. It can't comprehend such. I'm gonna say this, right. I feel you, and I have to be careful because my brain doesn't comprehend a lot of this shit either, right? It does not comprehend a lot of this shit either. So I am also very leery of it. But we'll keep following that. Hey, my queen, great aunt is in here. Greetings, Queen McKay. We will be following that up, and I will keep you posted on how that transpires. Also, now tonight's show, we're going to talk about mm, Donald Trump and his executive orders when it comes to um, taking over Washington, D.C. I talked last week about it. And I wanted to expand on this more because over the weekend, Donald Trump sent federal troops out on the streets of D.C. You're talking about the crime rate and all that. So we're going to look at some of the things Donald Trump is saying, and we're going to compare them to reality. We're going to compare them to reality. Also, I'll take a minute to wish Siren enough joy. Her bundle of joy is here. Yeah, I'm spoiling it. I probably shouldn't have told anybody, but hell, uh, her bundle of joy is here. She's recovering in the hospital, and everything so far is so good. So she has. Um, I'll let her tell you all the details. I just want you to know she's all right. I'm not gonna tell you that she had a little girl that weighed. Stop me. I'm not gonna share. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. All right. Let's look at, and I want to talk about this because there's so many lies going on, but it also is indicative of the situation we're in. Because let's get to it.
And, when you say take a look at numbers, I just saw some charts. These are different cities throughout the world. Red is, okay, the red is a place called Washington, D.C. Look at these. Baghdad we doubled up on Baghdad. Panama City, Brasilia, San Jose, Costa Rica, Bogota, Colombia, heavy drugs. Mexico City, I mentioned, Lima, Peru, all double and triple what they are. So do you want to live in places like that? I don't think so. I don't think so. And I think the people in this room, if you wrote correctly, you'd see, look at the kind of numbers we have. D.C., 41 per 100,000, number one that we can find anywhere in the world. Other cities are pretty bad, but they're not as bad as that.
Oh,
That where you want to live? The reporters of the world? Juvenile offenders and crimes against persons, as they say. It's getting worse. Not getting better, it's getting worse. And we had a recent indication. There was a story about a man who was just left. He quit because he was asked to do phony numbers on crime. And we're going to look into that. I think Pam is going to be looking into that. But he was asked by the city, I guess, that we don't want to show the real numbers. Let me do numbers so it looks like it's going down. Not going down. And under Biden, it was a disaster. And nobody did anything about it. We're going to do things about it like you wouldn't believe. Every American has a constitutional right to be able to access and petition their government in safety, and countless federal officials and employees likewise have the right to carry out their jobs in peace without being shot. As you know, I lost a very good person.
listen, I can't take no more. I can't take no more. But where are those? Where are those constitutional rights that he was just talking about? Can somebody direct me to the constitutional amendment with those constitutional rights in it that he just said that you can petition the government? Oh my goodness. He makes this too. But this is what I get. I know. What's up, Chief of Security? I know. This is what I get, right? So this was in real time, and that's why I like this because this shows you where the violent crime rate has gone down dramatically in DC since COVID. Because and during COVID, if you want to admit it or not, I don't know. It amazed me that during COVID, while people were supposed to be sick with a virus and staying home, that people were out committing crimes. They were committing crimes because the country had a crime spike during COVID. I guess that just goes to show you, you stay home for stimulus checks. It's not it's more violent than going out to work. But anyway, so crime did peak during the COVID. And but Washington has significant had lower crime rate, right? So 21% from last year, 37% overall. See, these are the drops. These are the drops. Uh, U.S. has dropped 4.5% in violent crime during the same time that D.C. dropped 26% in violent crime. Homicides down 14.9% across the country, down 12% in DC. Robbery is down 8.9% across the country, and it's down 28% in DC in the same period of time. And so you heard what he said. DC this, DC that. You know, these nuts. I mean DC. That's what he wants to blame it on. Now, before I go into what else he said, I want to take a look at. I want to take a look at. I close that. So I like my new system. I don't have to leave open. Let's do so. Let's fact check. So this is what Donald Trump said. This is from the executive order. I told you about the executive order. Fact. This is a fact check. DC crime is out of control. This is from the White House. This is from the White House, right? And they say, here's the facts. In 2024, Washington, D.C. saw a homicide rate of 27.3% per 100,000 residents. Why are you picking 2024? This stats out from right now. But this was the fourth highest homicide rate in the country, nearly six times that of New York, and also higher than Atlanta, Chicago, and Compton. All of a sudden, when you talk, so the homicide rates in DC have gone down. Or they just 27 point, and I'm not trying to be dismissive. I'm saying they're just 27.3 per 100,000 in life. I think 1.1, 1.100 is too many, but in this case, what you always well, let's say talk about Chicago. They always talk about Chicago homicide rate, but you saying that this rate at 27 per 100,000, uh, 27 per 100,000, um, that somehow is higher than Chicago, New York, Atlanta, and Compton, all cities where you say they have exorbitant crime rates. Now, you all saw when we went through the top 20 cities, highest crime rates in the country. But you also heard in there that he was comparing the homicide rate and the crime rate in DC to other world capitals and cities, right? Y'all heard that. So I was fair. I wasn't looking for any cities where there's a war going on in that country. I threw those out. We're not going to go through cities that have wars going on in that country. All right. We're gonna just leave them. We're just gonna look at y'all remember that. You see this, all right? This is what they're saying. 27.3%. Worst crime rate of a capital city of a city in the world, right? All right, let's go. And y'all remember we went over this. We went over this Friday, I think. Did we go over this Friday? The 20 most violent cities, and you can see the rates. Tulsa, we got dun dun dun, and that's why I told you all Tulsa. Washington D.C. was not on the city ranking of the 20 most violent list, and number one was St. Louis, number one most dangerous city in the country is St. Louis, and its homicide rate is 66.07 per 100,000. Remember that 66 per 100,000, almost three times that of Washington, D.C. But of course, the president of the United States says Washington, D.C. is the most um, unsafe place in the country. But let's expand that. Ah, 10 most dangerous cities in the world comparatively to Washington, D.C. And then we're gonna do this ranking the crime rates per 100,000. But I wanted to look at now. I wanted to look at these homicide 100. This is the index here to 66. 181.94 homicide rate, and Colima, Mexico. Can you see that? Can you see that murder rate? See it? 181. Somebody, how many times is that? It's five, six, seven, eight, about eight times that of Washington D.C. Right? Eight times, and it has a population of over a million. Um, Hadal, Mexico, 177. You know what's on this list? If this surprised you, on this list, out of all these, none of these are DC. But you know which one on this is on this list? The only country, the only city in America on this list is New Orleans, Louisiana. 70.56 per 100,000. Not DC, not Chicago, not in. New Orleans is on this list. Out of these 10 countries, 10 cities, New Orleans is number 8. Black folks do everything but take accountability. Your mama do everything, including sucking dick of cows. Now, if you think this is the place for you, you keep it up. Keep it up. It's a responsibility. You stumbled into a live and thought you were in a safe place, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Inbred family tree, motherfucker. But anyway, as I was saying, so these are the 10 most violent cities in the world. We showed you the 20 most violent cities in this country, and none of them are DC. So let's talk about it. But yet and still, and this is why. This is a test. This is a testing ground. It is also a deflection from the Epstein files. It's distracting from the Epstein files also, because at the end of the day, they're doing everything to deflect from the Epstein files. Well, see, and it's just the way. Let me tell you, the way that Reef4 Family Tree, Caucasoid, Yogurt Yeti just came in here, Yogurt Yeti. It shows you because he said you black people do everything. We're talking about the Washington D.C. and the deployment of federal troops into Washington D.C. That's what we were talking about. We wasn't even talking about the racial component of what it is. We just talking about violent cities and how to disprove the lies that he told about comparing it to other states, other cities around the world, and how it fits in. And I'm just showing you the fact checking. But when you're a reef, when your family tree is a reef and you're related by blood to everybody that lived under the stairs and the people under the stairs, facts don't matter because you don't have the comprehension skills to wrap your mind around them, i.e., whatever you just said. He said, I'll say hello to Siren. Hey, Siren, I didn't tell him you just had a baby. I didn't say it. I didn't say anything about it. I didn't say the baby was 6 pounds, 10 ounces. I did not say any of that. I didn't say that part. I didn't say that part. I didn't tell him it was a little girl. I didn't tell him. I was waiting for you to tell him all those stats. So, yeah, know I can't hold water, hold water when it comes to certain things. So yeah, so y'all send some positive universal energy to Siren. Um, she she gave she did a remarkable thing that all women are capable of, and all men envy, except me, because the human race had to decide. If I had to carry a baby to term for the human race to continue, y'all better party like it's 1999 and just enjoy your life until it's over. There will be no more children. But Siren did that. Siren gave congratulations. Welcome, welcome. So while y'all congratulating her, I want to make this transition to the most problematic thing is not the lies that Donald Trump told during this interview. Let's make our transition to the most problematic point that he raised in this interview.
You tell them, you spit and we hit, and they can hit real hard. It's a disgusting thing. I've watched that for years, for 3, 4 years. I've watched them. The police are standing, and they're told, don't do anything under any search. So and you can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there, and people are spitting in their face, and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want.
Okay. And who was he talking about? He was talking about the police. Yeah, he was talking about police. Now, let me put the backdrop on this. The backdrop of this is that when the Trump administration came into office, they dismantled basically the Civil Rights Division. They dismissed every case that they had pending against during the came of issue during the era of the Black Lives Matter movement after George Floyd, was cities were engaging in abuse of people and suing for civil rights. Dismissed all those cases, all the continuums, they dismissed them. And this man just said basically police can do whatever they want to. Now, of course, don't understand this is not about law. This is about the event that this administration has shown. There will be no federal prosecution of police brutality crimes on the level it has been. That's what he's saying. He's saying when they dismissed all those cases that were still pending, we knew that. We knew all the federal investigation into these problematic police departments that was canceled. We got it. That was the message. And now he's like basically, you all remember people were talking about police immunity and telling me, oh, we can't. And I told you, what did I tell you? I said, police already have immunity. I never understood. People were like, oh, this, you don't get criminalized. No, you're not. You know, police already have immunity. They're able to do that. I didn't understand why people were even pushing for that law that police could have immunity when they did. I was like, the Republicans just playing in y'all face. They already have the police immunity. It's called killing. Hold up, back up. I almost slipped out of my code switching there for a moment. Almost slipped out of code switching. So, okay, I'm back. So yeah, you have to, code switch. You have to make sure sometimes, because this you on the tip of your tongue about to slip out, catch yourself and be out like So if you know, you know. Doesn't the Home Rule Act technically only govern him 48 hours though? And I know he doesn't follow true and true. Because really the Home Rule Act only applies in situations of emergency. After you have to declare emergency within 48 hours, and then you get 30 days and you have to revisit it. There is no emergency. The stats going down in DC show that there is no emergency. It also shows there's no emergency when you do the comparative analysis to the cities I showed you, like the other 20 most violent cities in the and DC has been handling the police department has been handling the crime rate. And I think people have a misnomer also. Police don't stop crimes. Yeah, they come up on one in progress. Police departments do not stop crime. I know. It's sounds backwards, right? But they don't really stop crime. The crime is already happening when police are usually contacted. Investigators investigate crime. If police stopped crime, there would be no more. There wouldn't be so many crimes to investigate because the suspect got away. I just want to put that out. But understand that what I find so problematic about this is I listen to people who've never been to a protest and don't understand in the vein he's talking about, and in the vein the police can do what they want to. First, in the vein he's talking about, oh, they spit on the police and the police. Well, at protests, police have on visors, and no one, and not everybody is working up enough spit to spit on police. It's fractional, but he used that as extreme, right? But most time you spit on police, you're spitting on the visor. But police take an oath of office. And part of that oath of office is police use of force continuum. And that states the rules of engagement for how much force you can use in response to a provocation, right? So you telling the police basically beat them up. Now, get me wrong. I'm not going to be a hypocrite here. You spit on me, I'm going to try to break every bone in your body. But I'm also not the police. I didn't take an oath to not to the police continuum, use of continuum force. Because if you're saying the person with a gun and somehow the gun is spitting on you is equal to you shooting them or beating them with a baton. Now, if we want to go down this road, if we want to start applying my force of use continuum to the police department, then you're going to be ready for our force of use of force continuum in response to it. Just saying, I understand. Somebody had to remind me I am not like everybody else, so I know all these rules don't apply. I am some of my rules need to apply to all of us, I think we'd be much better off. Who said that? Who said that? Y'all hear that? Who said that? It must have been Bella. Must have been Bella. So that's where we are with what's going on in DC. But it spreads out from DC because he's basically telling police, y'all hit real hard. So that means we're going to start seeing disproportionate use of force in response to resistance. See, that's it. So, because somehow it's going to work the way that everybody is all of a sudden going to be spitting on police, and that's why they're going to be responding. Now we get into the words where you saw the case the other day where the policeman beat the guy up because he called him a pig. It's like, and is that the standard now? Because I believe that we have to start. No, it's two things. It's two things, and it's two things, Amy. It's not that he's just testing. It's that he's also deflecting and just trying to distract. And lesser people are distracted. Like I could talk about this and still say you still haven't released the Epstein files for a reason. But it is, but it's like I always say with Donald Trump's deflections or his distractions. They still are policy. You still can't take your eyes off of them because even though if he's deflecting something, he's deflecting not in the way that we're used to deflection in the past, where it's just a surface. No, this man has actually sent federal troops. And this is now let's get to the racial component and the hypocrisy of it. Most of the crime stats involving DC are not six or not 2 blocks. And it's not the people that work in the White House or in Congress or in the Supreme Court or around those areas that are the victims of the crime. So putting the federal troops out in those areas, that does nothing for crime in DC. That's just a show. But it's a show of protecting a protected class already. Yeah, this is that's why I told you I find this whole incident with balls. Yeah, I'm gonna call him that. That's what his handle is. Um, I find the whole situation strange with him because that is not a usual. He went out of his way slightly in that area, and because that area around the White House, the area around the Capitol, they literally have snipers on top of these buildings, right? So I just found this strange. Cops can't prevent crime; they can only stop it in progress at best, and at best they can only investigate it after the fact. At best, if cops stopped crime, then there wouldn't be so many assault of women people get away with. If stopped actually stopped crime, they wouldn't have to find a child after an Amber Alert. Cops, cops, at best are what is known as situational deterrence to crime. And I hope I'm not breaking that secret to anybody who didn't know it. But yeah, they sell the illusion of stopping crime, but most cops show up after the crime has been committed. At best, after the crime has been committed. Every now and then you might you get the calls of somebody's outside my house, and then sometimes when they show up, it's not even a crime being committed. It's a raccoon. But you might have the crime. It's like, oh, somebody is trying to break into my house. I'm gonna tell you, call the cops, but also shoot. That'll stop the crime right there. If you hypothetically, if you respond with violence or shot, yeah, people people breaking into homes are most of the time unarmed. That's another thing people don't realize. Most burglars are unarmed because they don't want to face armed. They, it's a whole nother armed rob or armed burglary is a much more severe charge than burglary of an occupied dwelling without a weapon. So most burglars are not armed. So shooting off one, you want to repair the wall, that's fine. And even if they do have a gun, if they know they're there and you shooting at them, they be like, these people will shoot. So they know where I'm at. I don't know where they're at. They will leave. Hi, I am Christian McGee. Thanks for posting that video. Who are you? Yeah, Bobby, you better tread lightly. You better tread lightly. Yeah, yeah. You'll be like, why everybody in your ass? And you be like, you just joking. This not Prankville. It's not Prankville. Yeah. All right. All right. No, I'm not. I'm gonna look the other way. I'm gonna look the other way. But you all have a good night, Bobby. You back to what you're doing. A 000 troll. It's like, yeah, y'all have a good night. I understand. Your sister is on a date with her other brother tonight. No problem. We've been known to entertain every night. I feel you. Your sister's on the date with her other brother, or it's your father's night tonight. It's Father's night. I don't know. I get y'all date nights. I don't know. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I get your date nights confused. I know y'all got it. If nothing else inbreed people can remember is their date nights. But so you have this situation where the President of the United States is actively engaged in deploying federal troops into a U.S. city for the express purpose of crime. That's that's of crime. And at the end of the day, you have to understand that there's a reason that shouldn't be okay with anybody. And don't get me wrong, DC is a special case because DC is the District of Columbia. And what? Bobby got blocked? I don't think Bobby got blocked. I think Bobby got muted and unmuted. Bobby didn't get blocked because I didn't say blocking. But at the end of the day, when you have to deal with, and did Bobby say something to somebody in here? I don't think Bobby got blocked because my rules are the only block people who say something negative to somebody to one of you all. Bobby, he didn't say anything. He just wanted attention. I told you, y'all feel sorry for Bobby. So you get to the point where you understand it is a test, but it isn't a test because it's not going to be the same for other cities. See, DC does not have statehood. DC is a federally administered territory, and I felt like the mm, the mayor of DC has done too much to try to appease Trump instead of pushing back against Trump. And so this is an example of when you try to appease Trump, he just keeps going. He's not going to stop. He's not going to stop. You might as well push back. But when she painted over Black Lives Matter Plaza in an attempt to please him, I knew it was going to wind up like this. I'm telling you, nothing ever comes good from trying to appease people like Trump. That's why I don't. 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes till you first shoe on. On. Okay. Uh, in 15 minutes. I'm not able to, just can't complain. Oh, okay. So that's what you have to understand. And that's why I say we have um these weak this is a you do you ever look at the Democrats' plans and realize that they're strategically and tactically weak ass plans? I was talking to somebody, I was talking to you all. I was talking to you all about the Democrats in Texas leaving the state and going somewhere else so they don't have a quorum. Now, good strategy temporarily. That's a good strategy temporarily. But how long are you all planned to really stay out of the state? Because the governor has the ability to call a special session every 30 days in Texas. Every 30 days. So are y'all planning? Would you all be willing to stay out of the state of Texas um, for a year until midterms? Can you afford that? Can you afford it? If you didn't have that plan in place in the first place, I think you should have thought of another strategy. And the strategy should be, let's do let's watch Texas law. I would have allowed Texas to pass their law without any Democratic support. They're gonna gerrymander the state, and I would let them get the 5 seats they were looking for. Whatever the gerrymandering turned out to be, whatever they were gerrymandering, because it's not like they're gonna get more representation for the state of Texas in the House. It doesn't. They're just gonna get more Republican seats for the House, about 5 at the max. And then I would go after the governor did that, after they got the law, instead of being the reactionatory about not showing up and just prolonging it, I would have been like, okay, now California, I want California, I want New York, I want Philadelphia. I want these strict blue states with large populations. The Republicans have shown you that this will not be constitutionally challenged. Because if it's constitutionally challenged, we'll deal with it out. We're just gonna take a page from Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama's book. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And see if the Supreme Court get to it in the next 16 months. I would restructure and gerrymander the fuck out of California so much that you would have two Republican seats in the whole state. What? So who said what? Somebody say something? I would gerrymander the hell out of California. I would gerrymander the hell again out of Illinois, like it has been already. I would gerrymander the hell out of New York. I would show you. You have one big red state, California. Texas, that has some sway power. And I would gerrymander the fuck out of the rest of them. What Florida gonna do? Yeah, what Florida gonna do? Redistrict? You're gonna still wind up probably about the same thing. It much better. We would gain more seats than we lose if we allow. Say, do it. See, there's no one else think like that. Just do it. I'll be like, do it. I'll show up. I'm gonna show up and sit in my seat and be like, I'm not voting for this shit, but do it. I want this to go on record that this is what you all did. So when we address it by doing it the same way you did it, then you can't argue about it. And this is the thing. And blue states take the blue districts too. Right. And then it's still gonna be you still gonna get a seat or two in Texas. It's not like they're gonna gerrymander them out of all their seats. There'll be a few Democratic seats in Texas, but you could actually gerrymander California to the point that they didn't have any Republican seats. You could do it. I've looked at the district map. I was looking at the gerrymandered last time map of California, and I was like, y'all really wasn't trying. I could really show you how to do this in a way that you get actually more blue districts. Yeah, Texas just don't want Jasmine, and that's like I say they're not going. Her district loves her, even if you gerrymander her district right. There are people that understand that she's going to fight for that district. And this is coming to a time where this is the difference between leadership and elected leadership. Because leadership fights for its people, regardless if it's an elected position or not. You're supposed to be electing representatives, not leaders. But when I tell people that never read the Constitution and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna elect," yeah, Nancy Pelosi was a leader of the Democratic Party as far as the Speaker of the House. But your leaders for your representatives are supposed to be still in your community, telling them what to do, not the other way around. She a black woman. Yeah, Jasmine Crockett is strong, but she's by the thing. Even with the strongest, she's basically in a wilderness because I almost called them fuck boys, but I would never call anybody a fuck boy. But fuckboy politicians that are leading these black women that are leading the trap, or women of color, um, they're leaving them outside. They're making Hakeem Jeffries' speech last week pissed me off so much. I was like, I take back everything I ever said about him because that was such a weak statement. Um, Not endorsing Mondani, the Democrats hesitant to endorse Mondani in New York's election. Um, is bullshit and it's a weak ass statement. Uh, is that time? I got 8 minutes. I got 8 minutes. Oh, did I say what did I say? Oh, I know what I just said. Okay. Yeah, I did. I said the F boy, didn't I? Yeah, F boy. But it's a weak ass statement. I think ass can slide. It is because at the end of the day, Mondani represents change. Mondani represents change, and it's the change that the people of New York Democratic Party um voted for in the primaries. It amazes me how some people will complain about there wasn't a primary process that picked Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket, but there was a primary challenge in New York that put at the top of the Democratic ticket Mondani, but now Democrats are saying, well, hmm, just goes to show you, fuck that system because it's only convenient when you want it to be convenient. So don't tell me anything about Kamala Harris's non-primary when you have primaries that people win and they still don't get the support that they do. Oh yeah, and that's one of the things about politics in general. When you have people that overstay their welcome because they're more, that's the difference between wanting personal power and wanting to exercise power for the people. It's the system of democracy is a trap like that. I know people don't like it when I say it, but it's the truth. It's the reality of the situation. We don't just have a democracy, we have a democracy married to capitalism. And those two are a power couple. They're a power couple. And, Auntie, it's not that I just think they need to go. I think they need to you still need the statesmanship. Not all of them are statesmen. You need statesmen. You need experience that some of them have, but you don't need them. You just need them as advisors. You don't need them in the capacity that we have. Yeah, it's like y'all know AOL just ended their dial-up. I did not realize AOL still had dial-up, and I brought that up because that's the kind of those boomers are used to dial-up. And we're in a whole nother era. Some of the things that we have to address without the baggage of that era. Yeah, right. They're out of touch in certain ways, but they need to be out of office to get in touch. You know what I'm saying? You need to be out of office to apply your experience to things that you have seen, but not have the ability to affect things that you're out of touch with. That's why I say it's a balance. It's a what dial up into right. Their dial up just in AOL just officially ended their dial up. I did not know people still had dial up. I just found that very fascinating. It said it was over 100,000 people that still had dial up. I was like, y'all still no one. I think some of y'all, no wonder some of y'all are missing out. Y'all not getting the whole conversation. It's hard. It's hard. How much time we got? I got 5 minutes on the DCP. Uh, AOL still a thing. Yeah, AOL still a thing. I should have known because time has dial-up service. I didn't know that. He still didn't know. Yeah, I'm just telling y'all, and y'all still didn't know. I didn't know either. I was shocked, and I found myself up on tech, but it was so far. It's like I never thought about it. I never thought about having. I remember the little dial tone and everything you get. I know nobody. If a call comes through, you can possibly get kicked off the system. All that. We remember all those things. You had to, or you could program it. It didn't have call interruption, and your call would interrupt. Yeah, people all get a busy signal. I remember those days. I'm older than AOL. This is wild. Older than AOL? Are you sure? Are you sure? Night, Auntie. You have a great one. Man, I don't even want to talk to you. We almost. I ought to close the conversation down. You that late. You that late. You late late. You late. You are. You are late. You're like I'm on the way, still at home, haven't showered late. I'm on the way and I haven't even got dressed late. I'm on the way and I haven't even made it fully awake late. Yeah, you late. Yeah, late. So that's what we were talking about. We were talking about DC. We were talking about how this is tense. We're talking about how you cannot ignore the deflections that are going on. And I'm talking about how weak Democrats are because they have no strategy. And all these people, y'all remember this. Y'all remember this. And I know, I don't mean it. I told my bestie today. Sometimes I wish I was wrong. I wish I was wrong about a lot of things that I say or I see. But I remember telling you all when we were talking about Democrats had a plan for the midterm. And I was like, no, they don't. Y'all told me, oh, yes, they do. Just be patient. Just be patient. First, you told me they had a plan after they lost the election. I said, no, they don't. Oh, they got a plan. See, Nathan, you don't know everything. They got a plan. I was like, okay. I watched two significant dates go by. Nothing happened to stop any of those significant dates. Okay. I get to the certification. Okay, where this plan at? TNathan, just be patient. They got a plan. I was like, are you all going to engage in an insurrection on the inauguration day? Is that your plan? Because I need y'all need better planning than this. Sure enough, inauguration day came and gone. Pledged in. Where was that plan? Anybody? I want somebody to tell. I really want the people who were telling me Democrats had a plan after they lost on November 5th. I want to see you all. I want them down front. I want them to describe to me what this plan was supposed to be. I just want to hear it. I just shits and giggles. And that's why I tell you all some people talking like MAGA after Trump lost. Right. More people were talking about a conspiracy that they lost the election than everything else. What's up, Cam? Welcome. But I just want to say, listen to me and listen to me well. And this is how you know. I remember when people were like, oh, when we vote, and I said, if you vote. I said that. I said, if you vote. But this whole plan of gerrymandering is not new. And it's not a surprise to me. I actually expected this out of Florida and Louisiana and a couple of states. Um, but I should have expected Texas. But my thing was that there was no Democratic plan to count. How do Democrats not have a strategist like me? How do they not have somebody whose sole job is to sit around and tell you all, yeah, you all are not doing anything in preparation for what the Republicans doing? Um, Clark, y'all remember the city clerk of the court in Tennessee that wouldn't issue marriage certificates for the gay couple, and they made a national hero out of her, and because she got her ass removed from office and did some jail time. Do you understand that she is now challenging the federal law of same-sex marriage? Did y'all know that? Did you all know she just filed with the Supreme Court to hear her case that same-sex marriage should be overturned? Oh, hey, GCPR. Met you all. Let me hold on. Y'all have a good night. And if you want to listen, you all know where to find us at. Same Wakanda time, Wakanda station, same Black Panther time tomorrow if you want to join. But we're going to talk about some specific United States issues. But if you would like to join, you know you're more than free. Have a good night. Clear. Make sure. Somehow I have to make sure I got the remote, but I have to make sure I turn it off. I have to make sure I spot it because I'll leave it on and I'll be talking DJ and DJ won't call me. He'll just be like he'll get off eventually. But yeah, she's from Kentucky, not Kentucky. She's from Kentucky. All right. Did I say Tennessee? I thought she was in Tennessee. Kentucky. All right. Well, she is now suing for the reversal of reverse gay marriage. And before you all run out and say the Supreme Court won't accept it, technically it only takes 5 members of the Supreme Court to decide. It only takes 4 members of the Supreme Court to decide to even hear the case. They don't even have a majority. They just need 4 members to decide to hear the case, and they only need 5 members to overturn the case. I'm not saying they're going to hear it, but these are the things that are going on because this is part of the long-term agenda of the Republican Party. The Republican Party picks up these people. They pick them. That's purity test you all have as Democrats. They don't have that test. They say, "Are you on my side?" And they say, "Yes." And they say, "We got you. We just need you to be." Republicans have so many faces of so many different facets of their party that I truly believe the Democrats should not be called the Big Tent Party. The Republicans are, because they support what they believe in financially, they support it ideologically, and they don't worry themselves with the nuances of purity that Democrats do. And those things in and of themselves are not bad. They're just in service to racism and bigotry. Can you imagine if we who talk about unity had the same kinds of principles that we financially supported what we believe in? We support people under the tent by giving them, we don't, Nancy Pelosi shouldn't be out here talking for everybody. They should have people that are actually going through things. They should prop them up. They should let them go. They should give them what they need to make the circuits and the round, and they stand together. They don't just think we didn't have this purity test that said, "Hey, see, Nathan, you're a convicted felon. Um, Even though your IQ is valid and your points are valid, but you can't speak for us." Okay, no problem. I'm gonna tell you what. There are more people that know a convicted felon than know somebody like you. But you go right ahead. You go right ahead. Somebody on X had a picture of them today. He said it's Fox and Friends. Scary it is. Same Capri that did away with. Right. And that's the thing. And I'm hearing the same kind of argument I heard when Roe versus Wade was overturned. Because people saying, "Oh, they'll never do that. It's codified in law." Okay. If that's the case, this case should not even be working its way through the system because it would be a given, right? That's why I can't get people to understand. It's like that's why it matters so much that Democrats, if you and I don't even know. I have no faith in Democrats. I just believe they're an easier party to beat. They're easier. I support Democrats because I think I can overturn them easier than I can overturn Republicans because you might not like it. It's rooted in bigotry. There's just more people that are rooted in bigotry and racism than you all think. Yep, than you all think. You know what happened to husbands whose wives don't have rights? They die mysteriously. Listen, Rain, you understand that there's the church that Pete Hegseth attends in Washington. All right, can you? Are we back? Am I back? Y'all hear me? Can you testing? Testing 1 2 3 testing. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna blame it on rain. It was rain fault because as soon as I mentioned her, um, everything went wonky. But you understand the church that Pete Hegseth goes to. Number one, understand they're also having services, religious Christian nationalist service. That's what I called them because you can't make me believe they're anything else because Pete Hegseth is leading them in the Pentagon. The Pete Hegseth, the man that goes to a church by a right nationalist that says he wants this country to be a Christian theology and women shouldn't have the right to vote. And then I just see people that are supposed to be really activists and they're just quiet in the face of this. This man is actively pursuing the goal. I know you all don't like it when I say Republicans are winning, but Republicans are winning because in the face of their winning, there is no opposition. People say, "I'm just gonna sit this out, see how it works out." Well, you're gonna see how it works out. They 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 have Bible study at the Iowa State Capitol every week. Bible study, Bible study. The establishment clause means nothing. Separation of church and state means nothing. Nothing. They are more committed to racism and bigotry than the moderate left is inviting. Good point. Because there is a moderate left that's still in the face of everything. I'm not even talking about. We don't have to go to extreme. What we used to call extreme is just the moderate right these days. That's just the moderate right. They're embracing their racism. You don't even have to go to the extreme right. just the moderate right is truly embracing this. They will look for. I watched people, and because I watch a lot of panel discussions across MSNBC, Fox News, um, BBC, talking about America. I watch a lot of panel discussions, right? And the maggots and the Republicans send their surrogates out everywhere. They have surrogates everywhere. On every talk show, they will send them to local, even on local news programs, and they send their surrogates out everywhere. Their surrogates and they protest are not afraid to speak up. They're not. They will say, we will, people making video laughing at them. Oh, they're so stupid. They don't even know. But they there. And while we're laughing at their stupidity, how many of you all out there countering their stupidity? Because at the end of the day, I don't blame media. I don't blame media. I blame the people that are not countering the narrative, are not out in the streets when they say something. It's like that's the stupidest shit. You want attention? Do like I do when I go out. I videotape it. Y'all see it. Get your ass from over here. Get your stupid ass from over here. Because I know as long as they're able to talk, they're gonna talk. Yeah. But we're not out there countering it. We're laughing at it. We'll come back and laugh at it on TikTok and all that. Drum up whole 5 views. But they're out here saying this stuff and getting the airtime. And we're saying we're so it's beneath us to even count. No, that's beneath you to get into the White House again. Gems need to be on every station 24. Every station. I'm not sure. And it's catch 22 with me because I'll be trying to offer them some good advice. But at the end of the day, I know they're not capable of. I know they're not capable. You do have Democrats that are capable, like Pete Buttigieg, uh, spectacular, spectacular man of the vocabulary, but also knows when to let it go. Um, just spectacular. Of course, and you have Summer, representative from DC, from Maryland. You have people that are capable of it, but not enough of them, and they don't have the backing that they need. They don't have the backing. We speak on every nonstop return on child. And see, I feel you, Amy, but I feel like the approach they're taking on the Epstein file right now is still wrong. I think this is one of the times when Democrats need to lean into that supposed sensitive nature. Where the Republicans are making it about the Epstein files, the Democrats should be making it about Epstein victims. They should be pushing an agenda talking about getting justice for them. And they're not. They're so focused on Trump being in the files that people see through that. You only care about this as a means to use it against Donald Trump. This is the time where they should be embracing it as a means to address what happened to these thousands of victims that no one ever paid for. We have no doubt that there were thousands of victims of Jeffrey Epstein. But I don't care how perverted Jeffrey Epstein was. He wasn't sleeping with thousands of young girls all in that time period. So instead of making it about them, instead of there should be Democrats, every one of the victims that will come out, there should be a Democrat accompanying them somewhere to speak about their pain. I'm talking about the ones that have come out, the ones that want to talk, the ones that just need the validation to be heard. Because Chuck Schumer call up a news station and say he's gonna come by. All they say he gonna come by. Whatever you want to talk about. He's bringing one of the victims from Epstein. This is what they should be doing. The front that they should be showing the American people is we care about the victims. And we're only doing this not because of Donald Trump, let those chips fall where they may, but we're doing this because we want these victims to feel like the government gives a fuck about them. They don't have that strategy. They're out here saying, "Oh, Donald Trump is doing this because he's in the Epstein file." Nobody cares. I know it's shocking, right? Because it's not going to move the needle in and of itself. Let's say he in the Epstein file. I bet you could bring out pictures of Donald Trump in compromising positions from the Epstein files if that existed, and his base would still be like, "Their doctor." They're doctors. Y'all just trying to get Donald Trump. Y'all do anything to get Donald Trump. That's a losing strategy. I hate to say it like that, but it's a losing strategy. It's not gonna work. 47%. As a victim, I agree 100%. Being lost and all. Right. You remember what I told you all? I said this is what my main problem is. Nobody is talking about the victims and what they went through and how to deal with and how to get them closure. Listen, Democrat, you understand what a boon it would be if a Democrat was had a victims that want to come and ask them. Has anybody asked them, what do you all? That's what we're gonna do. Whatever it is you all want. And I'm not even using this as a strategy just to win votes. I'm saying try being a leader for a change. Try being a leader. See how that works for you all. Try being sacrificed and say, we want you all. And it's never going to be closure. It's never going to be closure, but still be seen as the party that actually wants with the victims. Because I'll tell you this, while racism and bigotry is more out there than you think, there are more victims of crimes like this than you think. There are more. And that will trump, no pun intended, politics in a way that you know it. If they feel like this party is really standing up for us, the ones that can't stand up for themselves, the ones that bury this on a regular basis, we are not safe from powerful men in our government because nobody listens to us. Oh, right, Cam. And the reason they can't do that because they don't realize, and Cam and I were talking, and Cam and I are just like, when it comes to, I am very, people don't think it because you don't get to see it unless I'm, I do this because I'm compassionate. I do this because I care. But that doesn't mean I won't slap the shit out of somebody who gets in the way of it. You can have compassion and strength. And most people look at compassion as a weakness instead of saying, I'm so compassionate because I care about these people, but I will fuck you up over these same people. And the Democrats don't know how to do that. Democrats don't know how to do that. Call for a hearing with the spouse wants to speak. Right. Right. Neither one of the parties actually care about the victims in this case. They just want to see how can this be used against the other party. Which who's on the list? Is that a Democrat or Republican? That's what this is about. Who's on the list? Are they a Democrat or Republican? Like who's on the list so they can stop breathing? Who's on the list? Who do you all can have confirmation? And at this point, I'm sorry, the ship has sailed on the Epstein files. I know people don't want to hear this, but the ship has actually sailed on the Epstein files. As far as you getting worthy information, just like we can't trust any numbers that come out of the Labor Department for at least the next 3 to 4 3 years at least. We can't trust any of those numbers. You can't trust. You can't. You still can't. Definitely can't trust Maxwell. You can't trust her. But somehow she's gonna say something. Something is coming from her because she didn't get the cushy camp. It's not even prison. Federal camp move for nothing. She didn't get that. What's up, Pop Jones? She didn't get that cushy camp move for nothing. And we're gonna find out what deal did you make with the devil soon enough. Yeah. He won't make it 3 years. Who won't make it 3 years? Who, Amy? Who? She gets to leave and come back during the day. But see, here's the problem. Hmm. How do I put this? I think it's even worse if he doesn't make it 3 years. I think it's worse if he doesn't make it 3 years. I think it's worse because then you can create any image you want to around Trump when he's not around. Just like they did from the last term, you can create any image of you can make all these things about if he never gets to face the truth of a downfall, then he's gonna live on, he's gonna become their Ronald Reagan. going to supplant Ronald Reagan as the Republican Party's ideal philosophy. MAGA crumbles under Vance. They will fall. Racism is MAGA will still exist if Donald Trump dies before it falls. I'm serious. They will. Donald Trump will become. He will literally become their savior. Yeah. And JD Vance is not the worry for me. I'm more worried about Marco Rubio than I do JD Vance. JD Vance is opportunistic. Um, JD Vance past will come back to haunt him as soon as Donald Trump is out the picture. Because once they make Donald Trump a saint, JD Vance's past and all the things he said about him are going to come up when you have a true blooded MAGA running and willing to say, I never said Donald Trump was America's Nazi. JD Vance did. I never talked ill about Donald Trump. JD Vance did. JD Vance only has the power he does now is because it flows from Donald Trump. At any time, if Donald Trump is still alive, anytime he could crush JD Vance with a thought, and JD Vance knows that. That's why he's the chief glizzy swallower, because he realizes that he wants power. And he realizes that the only way to that power lies through the grace and blessings of Donald Trump. It all can't be those things in order to keep the coach, you need wisdom. He has right. He's more eyeliner. Greetings, greetings. And that's the thing. Like I say, I wish I was wrong. That's wrong. But I said it's the way that Donald Trump. If you ever watch JD Vance and Donald Trump and Mark Rubio together, watch his body language. Watch his body language. He thinks of JD Vance as a servant. He thinks of Marco Rubio as torture. I'm gonna tell you, he looks at Pam Bondi better with more of admiration and appreciation than he looks at JD Vance. This to me is dangerous. Listen, and it's not even those people. It's the people like Stephen Miller that are going to still be calling the shots. You're gonna make David Axelrod look like when it comes to calling shots. Steve Miller is Steve Miller. I don't know. I underestimate Steve Miller. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Steve Miller. Hey, right. I say so right. It is hate incarnated with purpose. And I didn't even get to talk about the fact that Israel killed some more reporters. Um, Israel has killed 170 reporters in Gaza, and nobody is Israel has killed more aid shippers. Israel is the state of Israel is literally an apartheid state. And they're showing it. It's like I talk. The plans are being laid out. Israel's plan all along, because you could have been withdrew from Gaza if you seriously were about the Gazan people being governing themselves. But now, and I told you all, everyone don't talk about the West Bank, but Israel is trying to run roughshod over the West Bank too. They just don't have Hamas as the scapegoat. So while they're over here doing these horrors in Palestine, the West Bank is catching hell too. But people are not talking about it because they don't have the bombs, but they're still stealing land. They're still opening up new settlements in the West Bank. even though the UN told them not to. Even though UN told them not to. So, and what is their excuse every time they kill somebody? Oh, they were working with Hamas. That's their excuse. They were working with Hamas. Yeah, no proof. They just enough to, for them to say it. They run media isn't talking about it because they were not white. I don't know if y'all remember in 2021 when Israel bombed, when they bombed the Al Jazeera building, and they had reporters from CNN were in there, reporters from BBC, and it was not an accident because it was no doubt, and it was one of the tallest buildings in Gaza, so you knew exactly what that building did, even with that picture you showed. I think people grasp the gravity of this. No, they don't. Even if you watch children starve, you got Benjamin Netanyahu gaslighting people and making and people really running with this. There's no starvation in Gaza. It's all Hamas' fault. I wish y'all would make up a struggle. Is Hamas responsible for protecting the people at the extent of an attack on Israel, or they want their people to die so they can do what? I need an answer. I need a struggle piece. I need if you're picking a struggle, you're saying that October 7th was because Hamas was taking revenge or striking out against an occupying state for their occupation of Gaza, or not. Pick a struggle. You can't have both. You can't say that they're killing their people and saving they're trying to save their people at the same time. You can't say this is about money. Who is who? He's like, oh, this is what you think? So all the Hamas leaders not in the country. So why you keep bombing it then? If they're not here, you say, oh, it's just about money. Well, they have money to leave, right? So you're saying that they're not here then? Oh no, they're hiding underground. But wait, with what? So you're saying they have money or they don't? Yeah, logical conclusions don't work. I watched the drop. I watched the age drop, and people on a balcony collapse and the horror crowd for 30 minutes. Yeah, yeah. So that is the reality of what we're dealing with. And the UN doesn't do the job. It's supposedly existing only to stop things like this. Yeah, but when you have the Western world in a chokehold, even the countries like South America, I mean South Africa, that stand up against it, are standing up against it in a minority void. You know, like we did the math, and you got these United States aid agencies that are sponsored by Israel and the government talking about they fed 100 million, delivered 100 million meals in 2 months. You got 2 million people that need to eat 3 times a day. That's 6 million meals you need to be delivering a day. That's 118 million meals a month, and you're up here celebrating 100 million meals in 2 months, almost three. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. All right, I'm T Nathan. This is the Cash App. If you want to help us do the things we did, um, you all, thank you all those who did help with the bill this weekend. Um, we did our thing. Like I say, we're going to St. Louis. We're planning it out. I don't have a credit card now, so I'll figure it out. Though I'd say we're going to St. Louis. We're going to St. Louis sometime in September, and we're going to do a meal for those happy homeless. If I have to if I have to put a shiesty on, we're going to do it. We're going to St. Louis. We will be in St. Louis um, because we do the work regardless. Don't can't buy an imaginary bus. I have a question. I have a question. Has anybody got their money back on this imaginary bus? Anybody got their money back of these community gardens? Anybody got any of that $396,000 back? Anybody? I'm just curious. I just want to know, do I need to put a shiesty on and go to Texas? I will. That's what I need to do. I guess that's what we do. Has anybody got their money back? So this man is just, these people are going around here. I'm just curious. And the Unfuck America tour, have they fed anybody yet? Have you seen them feed anybody on this tour besides themselves? I'm just curious things. I'm just curious about. I'm gonna do an Unfuck America tour. I'm gonna take their name. We're gonna do an Unfuck America tour, and we're gonna go around to cities feeding people, not talking to pseudo intellectuals about human rights, not getting happy that the old millennial walked into one of our lives. No, we're gonna go around and feed people. No, I've just seen older. You're right, older garbage cow. Where were these people at? So yeah, I got 5 minutes. If you want to make a donation, yes, we're 5 minutes. Um, hmm, and let's see, I got having never, never leave you. All right, hold tight, cause YouTube doesn't like it when I play copyrighted music. TikTok doesn't either. Oh well, our YouTube.